And I 100% agree that at the end of the day, it's in 2026, it's still so much about your actual sales skills, right? Like understanding how to build rapport and how relationships operate in the business community to get referrals, because that's still how business is done today. Doesn't mean that a growing percentage of the business isn't coming from online or these other ways, but the bulk of retail loan officers and brokers are getting their business still from the relationships that they build in their communities, with their past clients, and with people who have the ability to refer them people that need a mortgage, like realtors, financial planners, and the like. So I still think that, there's still a massive need for loan officers to hone those skills, be disciplined about their schedule and how it is they interact with their time and their community and the people who can refer them business. Like that's what I consider the basics. And I still think when I look at most originators that are struggling, they don't have those basics down. And maybe even some of them are too focused on the AI and the social media and the things that are like the shiny objects that are also important.
Yes.
But they call them basics for a reason. You got to have those down. You got to know how to actually talk to somebody once they call you and what to say, right?
Yeah, you sound like my next keynote. I mean, I have a slide that says people do business with, and everyone in the audience like people. I'm like, let's stop there with people, right? So if I'm going to be a next gen originator, I'm going to sell myself and my technology. I'm not just going to sell my technology though. And he or she with the most friends wins. I can't imagine that changes. Now, what may change is I hang out with my friends online as much as I hang out with them in person. What may change is that I communicate with my friends utilizing my agentic agent, but I still have to go make that friend. They still have to get to know me. If they know me, there's a chance they'll like me. Not everyone likes me, but some do. And if they like me, then my odds of them trusting me have greatly increased. At which point, if they trust me, then they'll trust the technology that I ask them to use. But I don't know if they're just going to trust my technology on their own. So yeah, and then honestly, none of us really know what the future looks like. Right? Like none of us. Like we can say, oh, AI will do this, AI will do that. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to tell you what AI can do in 2030. Let's get there first. I just don't want to get there and have to play catch up. I lived through that. I wasn't on Facebook quick enough as an advertiser. I wasn't on YouTube quick enough as a content creator. Right? I mean, eBay, I feel like knowing what I know now, I could have made a fortune on eBay. I just don't want to put myself in that situation or any business that I own. My advice to originators, if you don't want to be the person that does it, that's okay. Then go find a who. Who can you hire to be on your team and make that their genius zone? At which point, if they're doing it for you, why can't they do it for 5, 10, or 20 others? At which point you now have systems and processes and support that can attract talent to your branch because you spent the money to bring someone in who wants AI implementation to be their genius zone.
Yeah, well, and let's not forget that we all grew up being told that there was going to be flying cars. And not only is there not flying cars, in my non-flying car, I usually find at least 2 or 3 drop zones where my cell phone can't even hold a phone call on my way from, my house to Seattle. So, I think that it was really interesting listening to that podcast, people in the AI industry, which said we kind of oversold a little bit on what AI was going to do.
Yeah.
To me, that is, people should stop freaking out about what AI is going to do. And what they should do is take the tools that are available today and learn how to leverage them to create the space in your calendar, create the relationships that you want in the community by leveraging the tools that are available to you today, and just focus on that. Let's not get too hung up on what's going to happen in the next 5 years. Although I think you're right. If everybody in the mortgage industry lived there every day, if you think of every day of 2026, if you thought about, I'm not going to have this career in 5 years, I better make the most of it now, boy, you would be in such a better spot. Like that is a really good mental exercise.
Regardless of where you are in your career, if you're a sales professional. Now, if you're not the guy or the girl who's out there generating the leads and bringing in the business, this doesn't really apply to you, right? Because we live in a world where he or she that controls the lead controls the purse strings, right? Like you want to make the most money, generate the most leads, turn those leads into revenue, you'll make the most money. But it is, I don't want to say easy, but it sure as heck isn't unreasonable to be able to make $3 to $4 million over the next 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And that's if you're starting from zero, right? If you're starting from already making 150 to 200, you can go 3, you can go 6, you can go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You're at $4 million in just the next 5 years. Okay, so Uncle Sam takes $1 million from you and you live off $1 million, which I hope if you lived off $1 million over 5 years, that's about $18,333 per month is what you're spending. It lets you then save and invest $2 million. And I'm not saying you're going to be able to retire at $2 million, but maybe you're 40 years old. So now you're 45 by the time 2030 rolls around. You got $2 million saved and invested. Well, by the time you are 54, that 2 turned into 4. And then by the time you're 63 and a half, your 4 is 8. $8 million at 5% is 400 grand a year. That's not a bad retirement.
Yeah.
Right? It just isn't. So yes, I would love for people's mindset. And I guess the reason why I'm so passionate about that is without getting too personal or too much down a rabbit hole, and I know we're short on time, that was my mindset in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, because I lived through the crash. I saw my bosses lose everything. Me, I went from making $160 a year down to 80 grand a year. If y'all don't remember, in 2004, 5, and 6, if you were making 55 basis points, that was good. Right? Today, you all would like quit if I told you I was paying you 55 bips. Back in the day, that's what you earned, right? So you're doing 26 million in 2006. Your name is Dustin Owens. You made about $140 on that. So when I go from making 140, 160 down to 80, wasn't that detrimental. But I had colleagues that were making 300, 400 grand. They lost it all. So when I started making good money again, which for me is about 2010, I was like, oh God, just give me one more year. Then the next year, I'm like, can I just get one more year? Now we're in 2012. I'm like, crap, can I get 2 more years? But that mentality worked amazing because I turned 40 7 years ago. And at 40, I hit a savings goal. At 40, I knew I couldn't not work, but I knew that if I never saved another dime again, that by 55, I'd have more money than I ever thought I'd have for retirement just by following the rule of 72. So that mindset works, which is why I'm really encouraging people to embrace it. Because you know what happened to me? I got to 2019. I had all the money saved that I thought I needed. And then the mortgage gods rewarded 21. I mean, I doubled my savings in 2 years because of what happened.
Yeah.
So now when I got to 2025 and I wanted to go all in on all things TLOP, I'm not ready to retire. And I sure as heck don't want to live off what do retired people call that? Fixed income.
Right.
But I had that opportunity all because of my mindset. That's why I'm so passionate about that mindset, Tony.